is this is definitely some red pill, red meat. This is the kind of stuff that, podcasts like Fresh and Fit and content creators like Donovan Sharp and Rolo Tomasi, Michael Sertain, Rich Cooper. This is the stuff that is like where the rubber meets the road in the manosphere slant red pill world. Times have changed. Right? It's like this ain't the same dating landscape that existed 10, 15 years ago. Certainly not the way it used to be 30, 50 years ago. Times have changed. Women, not all women, but there are a lot of women out there who they have not. What am I trying to say? They are very uncompromising when it comes to uh, being an alpha, taking care of business, being an independent woman. So now you have the dating landscape is just, women who are out here and they're not taking anything less than what they want financially, what I mean, physically, emotionally. It goes down the line. This is the kind of stuff that you see on the Fresh and Fit podcast. You'll see it tonight when they do the after hours. You'll have women come on and they'll say, "This is what I deserve," right? Quote unquote. And then when they're faced with the reality, and the reality is there just aren't enough men of that caliber to go around. They don't know what to do. They just go into denial and they want to argue and argue and argue until someone passes out, right? That's pretty much what's going on with it. There's a movie out there. I'm pretty sure you guys saw it. It's an amazing movie. It's called Forrest Gump. In the movie Forrest Gump, there's a scene where Jenny, which is Forrest Gump's lifelong love of his life, comes home as an adult. They're walking around. She sees her childhood home. It brings back a lot of bad memories and a lot of trauma. And she starts throwing rocks at this house, man, breaking the windows, making some of the boards fall off. And she throws and throws and throws until she runs out of rocks. And then she collapses and she cries, right? And Forrest Gump is sitting there watching this whole thing. And he made a very profound statement. Sometimes there just aren't enough rocks. You know what I mean? Shout out to Forrest Gump. Sometimes there just aren't enough rocks. So when you look at hypergamy, and when you look at the vast majority of women out here, in the trenches, looking for their significant other, they are all competing pretty much for the same type dude. They want a guy who is a certain height. You want a guy who's tall, he's handsome, he's sophisticated, he's funny, he's charming, he's all these other things, like he's in shape. And then, you throw in the financial side of it. I want a guy that makes at least as much as I do or more. I want a guy who's driven. I want a guy, what I mean, who has all of the success trinkets and trophies or whatever, the car, the jewels, the house, the clothes, all that, right? Where there just are only so many dudes who could fit that bill. In other words, there just aren't enough rocks. Right? So you're going to have to make a compromise at some point. And this is what we're going to talk about. I stumbled onto this video, and I think this video is older, maybe a year or so old or something like that. TK Kirkland is a comedian. If you guys don't know who he is, he has been talking about this intersexual dynamic and what women want and what men want and how the game of life works forever. I've seen TK perform at the Laugh Factory on Chocolate Sundays so many times I can't even count. Funny guy, but even he's the dude in his comedy, he's able to push his message, and he's been pushing this message for a very, very long time. Wonderful 34s in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you, man. So glad you're here. Brother Mandrell is in the house. My favorite Green Beret. What's good, Mandrell? How you feeling? You know what I mean? My favorite doctor is in the house, man. We got Dr. B84 in the building. What's good? I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm still salty. I'm gonna miss you, man. You're gonna be down in Miami a week, really a couple of days after I leave, man. Or is it the other way around? I get there a couple of days after you leave, but man, no, I get there first and then you coming. Man, oh man, dude. I'm gonna try to see if I can get back down there, bro. See if I can get back down there, man. We got brother Dino Dinosaur in the building, always number one in the chat. always number one in the chat. He was like, DL, did you see the Florida lady get drowned by an alligator? HOA said will be evicted if she walks her dog on the street. I did not see that, man. Apparently, Brother Dino continues. And you had a neighbor film the backyard pond alligator they gave a name to. RIP, man. I did not see that, man. But yeah, we got critters down here in Florida, bro. We got critters down here, man. I was driving home from the gig last night, man, about midnight. Driving home, the streets are pretty much empty. I'm just driving, and I get hit. Like, there's no rain. It's a clear night. The car gets hit by. I mean, I'm like, what was that? Like, it was just some liquid or something, just like rocks. I mean, it was just heavy, hit the car. And it turns out, man, it was a bird. It was bird droppings, man. We got big condor type birds down here, falcons and hawks and all that. And I mean, I'm like, what did that bird eat, bro? Like it I'm just driving, it hit like boom, you can hear it. I swear you think the car was shook a little bit. Like, what? Finally got home, got looked at the car, man. It was like bird droppings, bro. Like, oh my God, I'm just driving down one of the main streets. Florida ain't no joke, man. Florida ain't no joke, man. Dr. B is like, yep, March 18th to 22nd, bro. Yep. And I'm down there the 15th. I leave on the 18th, bro. I'm down there the 15th, 16th. Actually, I leave on the 17th. So I'll leave a day before you get there, bro. It's crazy. Brother Tez is in the building. What's good, man? What's good? What's good? What's good? So sometimes there just aren't enough rocks. That I mean, just you see this on Fresh and Fit, and like you see this on any of the manosphere YouTubers talk about this all the time. And you're talking about hypergamy, you talk about how women are chasing after the same dudes, and those dudes pretty much get to do what they want to do because they're so highly sought after. They're out there, and then of course women say all men are 304s, all men are players, all men make over six figures, all men drive Lamborghinis, all men, they say this because these are the men that they deal with, these are the men that they see. They don't see like the bottom 80% of dudes, you know what I mean? They see the top 20, and some people say they only really see the top 5%, whatever. I always say the top 20. The top 20% of men have access. Women really don't see the bottom 80 guys. And then when you add that financial element, man, it really makes it difficult for women who are out here trying to find their quote unquote significant other. This video we're about to react to. The woman who was interviewing Brother TK. I mean, she was going hard, and I just thought this would be a good learning tool. This would be a good opportunity to kind of see what's out there. Now, I'm not saying that the average woman is like this host. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying, though, is I do see a lot of elements in everyday women that this host presents. I think this host is an extreme version of what is out there. I think the average woman is is way calmer than this particular lady. And you guys will see what I mean once we get into this. On a spot live. I am the single one is in the building. What's good, sis? I heart the manosphere. Word. Word. You don't see that often. I rock in the manosphere in the red pill world. Because there are dudes out here really looking for help. They're looking for answers. They want to know how to move. And I'm doing my best to help dudes become the best versions of themselves and maybe find some sort of success out there. That's why I'm over here. Do I agree with all the stuff that I see going on in the manosphere? Absolutely not. But I do agree with a lot of it. And there are some bad actors, right? There are a lot of bad actors in the Mano Swamp, in the red pill spaces. Myron Gaines is not one of them. But there's some bad actors out. Myron will say some stuff that I'm like, I don't know about that. But he's consistent with his message. He's consistent with his data. I'm talking about the real bad actors out there. I'm not going to jump on them and name names right now, but those who follow the spaces out there, those are in the Mano Swamp, y'all know who I'm talking about. There are some bad actors out there. And it is always the bad actors that gives the entire space a bad name. I mean, it just keep it 100. And when you hear people, make these outlandish statements and say all this stuff, well, that's the stuff that goes viral. You're not going to hear about the normal conversation and the good things that are going on. And you're not going to hear, when you have a woman who's like, yeah, I agree with you. There are only so many men who make this much money. And, those men do have options. And, most of the time those men are going to exercise those options. That conversation is not going to go viral. But when you have the opposite of that, when people are screaming at each other and calling each other names and going crazy, that's the viral stuff. That's the red meat. Brother Cody is King is in the building. What's good, Cody? He's like, you mean a loud woman? Like, Cody is King's in the building. So let's pull up this video. It's the name of this podcast is Pivot with Purpose. And the name of the host, man, I'm sorry, I cannot remember her name. But they'll have her name pop up on the bottom third, I believe. So we'll be able to read her name, as we get going into this. Man, this is an hour podcast. I'm gonna try to get through most of it. This is probably gonna be, because I was thinking this might have to be a two-parter, but I don't know. The first part is where all of the red media is, like the first 30 to 40 minutes or so is where all of the media is. We're gonna try to get through that part, and then at the very end, Brother TK said something that was just spot on. So when we get to the end, we'll deal with that, man. So let's get into this, man. And for those of you who are here, Ninja watching, I appreciate you. For my day ones, I appreciate you guys as well. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We're growing, guys. We're growing. The YouTube short algorithm is pushing shorts like crazy, even shorts from this platform. Our long form content not really doing as well, but the shorts are doing great. And it's just a matter of time, guys. I appreciate all my day ones hanging in there with me and supporting me and all that good stuff, man. I really, really appreciate y'all. We're growing. Even Patrick Bet-David, with all of his millions, when he got into this space, they said it took him 2 years. He was 2 years in before he was able to get to 2,000 subscribers. We're at 1,820 some odd subscribers now, and we're not even at the 2-year mark. So think about that, man. Like we're on track. Look at PBD now, man. Millions and millions of subscribers over multiple platforms. He is one step away from mainstream. He was just on Bill Maher last week. On Bill Maher's podcast that he does from his home. I think it's just a matter of time before we'll see PBD, Patrick Bet-David, on Bill Maher's HBO show. So, hey, man, we're going in the right direction, guys. We are certainly going in the right direction. Let's get into this. Like and subscribe, please. Let's get into this.
Welcome back to another episode of Pivot with Purpose. Today's a special one. I was actually headed out to Tampa to go to Howl-O-Scream and hang out. Funny story on that. I was going on a date with this guy and he canceled on me. He's a single dad.
Okay.
So his daughter, I can't complain too much. I get it. Daughter said can't come. So I went ahead and called somebody else and I said, hey, going to Tampa. You want to roll? He said yes. So we rolling.
Oh, cool.
It's like I realize it's been almost 2 years. I am the definition of single. Like,
okay, I respect that.
All caps, single. I've never been this single in my life.
Right.
And I don't know how ready I am today, but let's call somebody up and say, let's just go have a good time. I'm not like I'm trying to do anything.
Right.
But just have a good time.
Will you take advantage of them if the opportunity?
Not this one.
Not this one?
Not this
okay, you're not feeling that person like that.
So here we are, man. We're just like a few minutes, like a minute and 33 seconds into her podcast. And what she says, like, hey, she had plans to go on a date with a guy who's a single dad. I believe she's in the Orlando area. They talk about Tampa because they were saying an hour and a half away. So I'm like, I think they're in Orlando. It could be in Sarasota, but I think it's Orlando. She said, hey, I was going to go to Tampa on this date. My date flaked on me. Single dad. She's like, I get it. Right. So I'm like, okay, cool. So what did she do? She called up another dude to get a dude to roll out with her. She invites a dude to come with her. So she basically asks the dudes on a date. Where did she get that guy from? The friend zone. That guy's probably been waiting on that phone call for years. Here's my chance. TK is like, oh, if it turns into something, you're going to do a little something. She was like, nope, not with this guy. Right off the rip. Not with this guy. She just doesn't want to go by herself. She still wants to go out to whatever this event is. She wants someone with her. I got someone in the friend zone that's going to do it. Initially, you listen to it and you would think that she's been listening to Myron Gaines. You know what I mean? She's been listening to Fresh on Fresh and Fit podcast. You got to double, triple stack your dates because you know someone's gonna flake on you. So you just go with the number 2 and then go with the number 3. Women are so alpha that they're beginning to move like men. Xerxes, the king of Persia, said this when he was dealing with the Spartans. He said it himself. He was like, women are made of men parts and men are made of women parts. He was saying that about his own soldiers and his own generals. Like, man, look at these women are made of men parts and these men are made of women parts because the women were so alpha trying to deal with the Spartans. And ain't that much changed. Like, ain't that much changed. Look at what's going on now. So this sister right here, I want to say her name is Cynthia or something like that. Kathy, I was hoping they'll show her name at some point. I never say my name at the top of the show, but it's right here, right? It's right below us. Bam, right there. DL Saint. I put it in the bottom third. But right off the rip, she's talking about the struggles of a single woman. Like, I am single. This is how I am moving. And as we get into it, you're going to see how alpha she really was. Now, again, this is just how it works. I ain't mad. You know, women have a legion of dudes trying to get them. And this is women at all spectrums of the scale, from 2s all the way up to 10s, really 1s, from 1s all the way up to 10s. They have multiple guys standing by. They have a guy in the friend zone. Guaranteed they have a guy in the friend zone. But dudes, only the top 20% of dudes really have access to women like that, and they have to work extremely hard. They have to get gamed up and they have to move in a certain way because of their experience. They're like, yeah, I know she's probably going to flake. I know this, I know that. And it is what it is. Let's continue.
This is just, we're just
Okay.
gonna chill.
Now, how and if you wanted, because I could tell you're a boss.
Mhm.
So if you wanted to sleep with someone, how would you pull it off?
I don't even know what that looks like.
Like,
anymore.
would you seduce a person, buy a person a drink? You're sleeping in the same hotel
Honestly,
room?
every time that anything has happened for me, so I have 2 left feet.
Okay.
Somehow my bad dancing and my loud mouth makes them to fall in love with me. So I don't have to do much.
Hilarious.
They'll just be like,
Yeah.
just get to dancing, and they're like, I love the fact that you have no rhythm, and I'm like, I know.
That's
I know.
hilarious. Hilarious.
But this voice that you hear, I did a little research. Always knew who he was because, you know, he is about 95 years old. So he's been along for a while, 3, 4, 5 different generations. He's an actor. He's a stand-up comedian. He's a podcast host.
That's
We're in a
right.
podcast right now. He
Mhm.
is a writer. So
Mhm.
I found out.
Mhm.
He is here for his comedy show at the Orlando Improv. And he has writing credits in like, are there any questions? You've been on BET's Comic View,
Mhm.
Lafapalooza.
Mhm.
Did you do Def Jam?
No.
No Def Jam?
No.
Brother TK has a ton of credits. She's kind of going through his credits. She never answered this question. He was like, well, how do you seduce? How do you set it up to where, you know, when you want to smash, how do you make it happen? And then she talks about, well, I got 2 left feet and I'm uncoordinated and all I got to do is just do this, whatever silliness. And, you know, and the guys are like, oh, I love the fact that you're uncoordinated and da, da, da. The answer is this, man. Dudes want to smash. Right? She is a woman, right? She doesn't have to know how to seduce a dude. Every dude that comes into her orbit is trying to hit. The vast majority, making up numbers here, I would say 99.8% of the dudes in her orbit are trying to smash. Most of them are in the friend zone. Some of them are dudes are out here just trying to make it happen, let it known up front. I'm gonna let you know up front. I'm trying to get at you. I'm trying to holler at you. I'm trying to get in there. And it is what it is. Women don't need to know how to seduce a dude. They just don't have to. Guys come ready. What do dudes want to do? They want to smash. If you're a woman out there and you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you. Guys want to hit. That's it. They want to hit. So you don't have to dance silly or whatever she was doing. You ain't got to pop lock and all this kind of stuff. Start, hey, what's up? You want me to get this? All you got to do is say, hey, why don't you come over? Hey, what you doing? Why don't you come over? A booty call, a booty text. He'll be there, Johnny on the spot. You know what I mean? Like, even with her, like this woman right here, I mean, she's attractive on the show. You know, she's like thicker in the sense like a sexy thick. She's not like a big girl. I mean, like a fat girl. Like she's not obese. But this is the kind of woman who, whenever she walks into a room, whatever room she's in, dudes are gonna come over and holla, 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 holla. Right. So if she sends that text like, "Hey, what you doing? What you come over and Netflix and chill?" That guy that she sends it to is gonna be out of there like this. He's gonna be out of there like that, man. Like that. Like, what's up? You want to come get this? Dude is on his way. Beep, beep, pew. Showing up at the door, knocking on the door ASAP. Like, oh, I can't believe he got here that fast. So women don't have to put in any kind of work when it comes to that. Men do. Men do. Some men have to work way harder than others. But even the dudes at the top tier dudes, they still got to put in work because women come over there and they're like, I just don't want it. I don't want you to get it so easily. I don't want to seem easy to you, which shoots them in the foot every single time. But that's another conversation for another day. Let's continue.
So that this BET comic view that I remember.
Yep.
So he is known. TK. Did I get all that right?
Yep. You got all of it.
You
right.
got all of it?
You got a lot of, there's a lot of new stuff.
What's the new stuff?
The new stuff is
Well, podcast is new.
Yeah, podcast is new.
Stand-up count. You're still doing?
I have my own company. I produce my own stand-up specials.
Okay. So
and they've
you have a
been doing
special
very
out?
well. Yeah, one is called T to the MFK. That's the latest one.
Okay, and where's that at?
That's actually on. I have my own network as well called TK.net.
And they're going over his his credits and what he's doing. This is great stuff. But we'll definitely link this in the we'll link this in the description below so you guys can watch this if you want. I encourage you to watch the entire thing. It flows pretty good. It slows down a little bit past the halfway point, but then when it gets towards the end again, it gets pretty good. Yeah, but they're gonna get into conversations about sexual dynamics, man. So let's get back to it.
Yes.
So shout out to you being here on this earth as long as you have.
Shout out to the senior citizens.
Absolutely, you might be the oldest person I've ever interviewed.
Wow, awesome.
No, not might. You are.
Okay.
Yeah, outside of my grandma when we just hang out.
Right.
But yeah, you're definitely the oldest person I've ever interviewed. Before we get started with the podcast, this was all so nice, but it's gonna get real in a second because if you know anything about TK. He's controversial. The old is not just age, sometimes thinking too. So Apple Podcast review. Shout out to everybody who leaves an Apple Podcast review. It helps tremendously to grow this show, whether it's on YouTube or Apple.
And she says he's controversial. Like she did a little bit of research. She looked at some of his clips. She didn't look at his long form stuff, his clips, and they're gonna get into it big time. So let's continue.
I have no idea.
Me neither. Shalom. I'm gonna be real. I just love your vibes, who and what you represent. So I know this show is bomb. Period. I will be honest and say I've only heard and seen maybe 2 episodes. Thank you for your honesty. But I will make sure to watch one every day moving forward. And as I watch, I definitely will show and tell you what I think as I go along with your Pivot podcast journey and continue finding my purpose. God is love. Shout out to her. I love that.
Okay.
Because we just hit our 200th episode.
Wow. Awesome.
So this technically will be like 202 or 203, something like that. And I've been podcasting for 5 years. And 5 years in, there's new listeners literally daily.
Absolutely.
So it's the beauty of podcasting that people will start listening from years ago. And I'm like, I'm not even that girl.
And she has around 5,000. I think she has under 6,000 subscribers. I kind of went through her page a little bit, looking at kind of some of her stuff. Her numbers are similar to mine. I mean, she's doing like some 200, views, 500 views. And then her clips would be a couple thousand on her clips and stuff like that, her shorts. So, I'm kind of, gaining ground. But yeah, she's been doing this a long time.
On radio after I got back to Orlando from Jersey. Jersey? Anyways, he's from Jersey. So y'all already know. Garbage. I don't know what comes out of it. Who else came out of Jersey?
Oh man, Flip Wilson.
Who is that?
old comedian.
Okay.
Old comedian. We have a lot of celebrities come out of.
Give me another
Jersey.
one. Give me one that we would be proud of.
Oh man.
We can't even that.
Kool and the Gang.
Who is that?
You don't know who Kool and the Gang is?
No.
Spike and Kool and the Gang.
Showing your age.
The Manhattans.
Come on, give me somebody from like.
She's showing her age. This is a young woman. This is very young, and the way that she thinks is kind of, like she's saying this stuff and being witty and funny, but at the same time is extremely disrespectful, right? So this is part of it. This is part of it, y'all. She is She is young, modern. This is a young, modern boss babe. Let's continue.
I lived in Jersey for about 8. Well, I lived in Jersey twice. I lived in
Okay.
Teaneck
Okay.
for
I
a
love
year
I
in
just left Teaneck
2006,
yesterday.
and I lived in Alpine
Okay,
for another
beautiful
year.
places. Yeah.
Both of them hate them.
Okay.
So not for me. Up north is not for me anyway. Florida, Orlando is my place. So here
Yeah. You
I
from
stay.
Florida, you want to stay in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-mm.
The
Over there,
weather,
it's
the way
brown.
the way the city moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
like it. So we're gonna start with Carla on air, and this is usually something, an article or something that's going on that I, want to talk about. So
Mhm.
Love is Blind. I'll be shocked if you've ever seen it.
No.
No. Okay. So Love is
Mm-mm.
Blind is a series of a dating show on Netflix. I sometimes like to unwind, and I'll fall asleep every time. So it takes me forever to finish a season of something.
Okay.
But I'll watch something that has nothing to do with work or like development or just trash TV
Mhm.
to get it. So Love is Blind is going on, and I want you to picture this. This is a scenario that happened. So these people are in pods. They don't see each other, and you have to fall in love with someone after
Okay.
talking to them for like 10 days and propose because you're talking to them constantly.
Propose like the marriage?
Yes.
Oh
And
man.
then so here's how the show works. You're for 10 days in these pods. You date a bunch of people. You see who you connect with. You don't know what they look like, where they're from, how tall they are. Like you know nothing about them.
Right.
You just talk to them
Off
through a
ca-
wall.
Yes.
So all these days. So finally, that connection, you fall in love with them, you propose, then you meet each other and you see what you look like. Then they send you off for, I think it's like 4 weeks to an island.
Okay.
And it's like a honeymoon type of, or pre-honeymoon.
Right.
And then they put you in an apartment for another 4 weeks until your wedding.
Man.
So you get married in like 8 weeks from
Right.
meeting each other face to face. Well, now
Has anyone watched that show? I've heard about this show. I've never watched it. I know there are a couple shows like this where people are willing to get married without sight unseen. There's a show out there. I don't know if it's still going, but a matchmaker would match you with someone and they both parties agree to get married. The show she's talking about, I've seen clips. My man Jay Swans be like watching it, because he and his wife are sitting around and they watch stuff like this. And it's funny because people are talking, they can't see each other. It's just conversation and whatever. And then they meet and they film the first time they get to see each other. And sometimes you see the disappointment or the excitement. You know what I mean? Like it's so crazy. And I'm pretty sure somebody's probably clipped that up into a channel somewhere where you can just see sometimes it's the man who's extremely disappointed, sometimes it's the woman. Like the woman might be overweight or whatever, and the guy's like, damn. Or the guy might be short and the woman's like a little taller, and she's like, damn. You know what I mean? Or the other way around, they get happy, like, yeah. And these type of shows are all over network television, cable television. You can find them. I think they're on Netflix. A lot of them have them on Netflix. I think it's one is like Married at First Sight or something like that. Is one of them. I don't know, but I've never watched any of these shows. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes of this show that she's talking about, I believe, because they have them separated and they talk via like a phone or whatever. Like they're in a room and then the other person in the room, they don't see each other. This sounds familiar, but I never watched like a whole season or anything like that. Brother Grios is in the building. What's good, fam? Brother Grios is in the building. Sister, I am the single one. She's like, I watched 1 season of it, might review it on my other channel. Ooh, if you do that, let me know. I probably will have to watch a season. Maybe I'll watch an episode from a season and I can talk to you about the episode if you decide to do it. Let me know, sis. Let me know. Let me know. Let's continue.
now there's this couple, and I want you to picture this. Now they got back to their apartments and they go and see each other's real apartments where you really live.
Mm.
Now, here's the scenario. You're like on this 5th date with this person, right? You're getting to know them. You really like them. Then you go to their house eventually, right? Because we're grown. Now, everybody here is 30, at least 30 to 35,
Okay.
right? You go to their house and he's like, I'm going to cook you dinner. The guy, this is the man. I'm going to cook you dinner and, I'm going to make you steak and potatoes, probably a little asparagus on the side, a salad, a little wine. And she's like, absolutely. I mean, I love to eat, but
Right.
give me a steak. So you walk in and then she's like, well, let me help you plate everything because now you're done cooking. So I'll help
Right.
you plate everything so we can sit down. You open up the cabinets and the man has plates, spoons and forks and stuff and cups, but it's paper plates, solo cups, and silverware that's plastic.
Okay.
He does not own dishes.
Okay.
no dishes.
Yes.
You're somewhere between 30 and 35.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
You
Right. So y'all kind of know where this is going. She has a good point though. Like you're somewhere between 30 and 35. You're a man. You have nothing but plasticware and paper plates and stuff like that. Right off rip, I'm thinking, what happened? Did he just go through some sort of breakup? Did he just go through some sort of divorce? Did he go, you know what I mean? Did he lose a lot of money? Did he lose money through the divorce? Did he lose money because maybe he made some bad investments? I'm thinking, that doesn't really sound right. Or it's a guy who doesn't, the guy doesn't really cook, but he cooked all this up, so he knows what he's doing. That's my initial thought. And then my secondary thoughts would be, well, I need to see the dude. Is this a Chad? Is this a Tyrone? Is this a dude who's like extremely fit? Is this a dude who has game? He's a womanizer. And if that's the case, he doesn't need paper plates. He doesn't need silverware. He doesn't need, he doesn't need nice china. He can get away with the paper plates, the plasticware, because all he's doing is bringing women back to the crib to smash. That's it. He's not cooking dinner, having lunch, having breakfast. He's not doing any of that. She's coming over to get what she wants from this top tier dude on the physical side. Maybe he doesn't have any money. Remember, we talk about this all the time. You go, one of your red pill moments, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You don't have to have money to get intimacy from women in today's world. You just have to have game and know how to move. I told you guys on this platform, I say it all the time. I've said it on Suzette Speaks platform. Shout out to Suzette Speaks, by the way. Shout out to my sister. She's out there killing it right now, man. It's political season, man. She is putting together some of the best political events I've seen in a long time. She's down in South Florida. I'm trying real hard to get to one of her events. She's doing big, big things, man. We got to give our sis Adon DeMarco. Shout out to you, Sue. She's probably not watching because she's busy as hell, but I'm going to clip this and send it to her so she can see me giving her her flowers because she deserves it. She's working hard. But back to what I was saying. If you're a dude, you got your body together, you financially got yourself together enough to where you're living on your own, you don't have a roommate, you have game, right? You're funny, or you really know how to talk to women. Yeah, I mean, that's it. You're gonna get women who are like, man, this is a big dumb dude, but boy, is he sexy. I want to go back to the house. I'm gonna crush, I'm gonna smash. I'm gonna let him get this. He doesn't need these things that she's talking about. You know what I mean? So let's see what Brother TK had to say.
I don't think you should judge anyone.
Of course you would say that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't think you
for
should judge anyone. I think with me, everything's based on who raised you. Everything is based on who raised you. So if he's moving that way,
okay, but we can all get raised, but at
Yeah.
some point we're adults.
no, you're not understanding. There's some parents who are just horrible, Carl.
Okay, let's now take accountability for ourselves. We're now adults.
Right.
So I understand our parents raised us
There's
one way.
grown people that don't
Never grew up.
Yeah, but there's grown people who don't have plates.
Why?
I have no
Why
idea.
are you on a dating show trying to find you a wife when you don't have plates?
But you're profiling, you're criticizing, and to hear you do that is kind of strange.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
Because you so
Boy, she doesn't like the fact that this dude doesn't have plates, right? She doesn't like that at all, right? Oh, TK said, I don't want to judge. He's an old brother, man. He's in his 60s. He looks good. Shout out to TK. He's like, I don't want to judge. I don't know dude situation. This woman is in there. I have no idea how this woman reacted on the show. This young lady right here, she's like, why are you out here trying to date if you ain't even got plates? What does that have to do with anything? This is the way he chooses to live. Most dudes do things because they're trying to get women. If you remove women from the equation, most dudes would probably live in, the most basic shelter, probably wouldn't have nice furniture. None of that means anything to them. So the average dude doesn't care. Like, you come in my place, the place is put together. But, I put it together in the back of my mind. I'm thinking like, one day I might bring some women through here or something like that. You have to have your way. Your place has to be a certain way. Again, that's part of the game. That's part of knowing how to move, especially if you out here womanizing or whatever. You got a nice place, right? You can have a house or a townhouse or an apartment. But if your place is nice It's cozy, it's put together, it smells good, it's clean for the most part. Bro, that's 65%, 70% of the battle right there. She's already digging. You should agree to come to your spot. She walk into the spot, right? That's 20% of it. She walk into the spot, you know what I mean? And the spot is perfect. That's like 60% of it. You 80% there. Now all you got to do is just keep your mouth, keep your foot out your mouth. Don't say anything stupid. And she gonna get down. Because more than likely that's what she came for. So it doesn't matter if you have plates, silverware, china, and all that. But a guy who has his game together understands that, well, if I'm going to be bringing women back here, this place is going to have to look a certain way. Period. Your car is going to have to look a certain way. It doesn't have to be high-end European or Asian or whatever, but it has to be, you want your car to be nice and clean. You know what I mean? Like the outside is nice. The inside is clean. It's not cluttered. That's what women expect. Their car might be wrecked. It might be a disaster zone, but yours got to be right. This is all part of the game. And look how this young woman right here, I can't believe why is he out here trying to date if he doesn't have, china and silverware? Because he can. Brother Pitney's in the building. What's good, fam? She basically just admitted that pre-selection is a thing. Absolutely. It absolutely is. I am a single one. She was like, I actually agree with TK so far. Girl, we making you, we dragging you into the Mano swamp, girl. Be careful. We dragging you in.
Because you're so amazing for you to judge that guy so hard.
If you're broke, you shouldn't be dating.
I agree with that.
Okay. Oh, we agree on something. Might be the only thing this whole episode.
I do agree with that.
Okay.
I believe that a man and woman, everybody should work hard and have themselves together first.
Absolutely.
And I mean, really have yourself together.
You don't have to be a millionaire by any way, but you really need to be able to cover all your bases and live comfortably.
To enhance the woman or the man that you're going to date.
Absolutely.
People think I'm crazy when I talk like that.
No.
But it's a fact. Like, you don't want to be broke, but you want to have a little something.
Yeah.
At least go to a movie. At least to at least pay your bills before you bring another man or woman into your
life.
If
you're coming and inviting me to your house to eat, at least have the dollar store literally has.
Now, do you think somebody we're gonna go back to being grown, but 30 to me is not grown. I think we talked about that
at 30, I think at this point we're still defining our careers, who we are. We're still learning. You mature a little bit, but we're talking about specifically here paper plates.
I totally agree, because
not
I believe
one dish, like a fork. How am I gonna cut the steak?
I believe everything that you're saying, but what I've seen around the world, I'm very disappointed. Even to hear what you're telling me, that a man 30-something years old has paper plates.
So there was something else that happened.
Okay.
So right away, man, she's talking about, you shouldn't be dating if you broke. TK said the same thing. You shouldn't be dating what you broke. What's broke? What's broke? We talk about this all the time, right? One of my favorite talking points, right? As of 2022, man, the average income per individual in the U.S. $65,423,000. That's like the average, right? Well, I believe it's the median. It's the median. I'm gonna go back and check that number, but I believe it's the median. What's broke? Would broke be well below that? $20,000, $30,000 below that? Is that broke? Right. So when you get into that, well, TK was trying to qualify it, like, well, you should be at least able to take someone out. You should be able to buy them a drink. You should be able to take them to a movie. You can do all that on $65,000. If you're single, you don't have any children, you know what I mean? Depending on what city you live in, even if you live in an expensive city, you can afford to do that on $65,000. You might have roommates. So, if you forget about bringing them back to the house, you might have roommates, but, it depends on how you run your finances, right? What is broke? That's the question. What's broke? And to the vast majority of folks who are broke, by the way, their definition of broke is someone who's not driving a Mercedes or a BMW or a Lamborghini, a person who's not living in a big fancy house in a gated community, A person who's making less than 6 figures is broke to some people. And like I said, those people who will say those things are broke themselves. Like you're saying, you're demanding that your man makes $100,000. Your potential mate makes $100,000 or more a year. How much do you make? Well, I make $40,000 a year. But I'm pretty. I'm a female. I'm sexy, whatever. And I'm like, oh, you got a point there. But you're a brokey. You're a brokey, but it's okay for you to get someone who makes well more than you do, but it's not okay for a guy to get someone that makes well more than him. And that's just, most women aren't going to be cool with that. And that's just the facts. You know what I mean? People say, well, that's just your anecdotal experience. Line up 100 women and ask them if they're okay with supporting their man, their significant other, for 20 years. Out of 100 women, how many of those women are going to say that's fine? Y'all let me know.
He goes through his things and opens the drawer in the bathroom, and he has a sex drawer. What is a sex drawer? When different women leave earrings or a ring or something, he just like throws them in a drawer. And when she opens it, he's like, oh, it's just like from random women that have been here and they've left little things. And he has, why not just throw it away? I feel like that's so immature.
It's not immature to the guy, but at least hide it.
It's not immature to keep
Because it's not,
those things?
they haven't moved in together yet.
No, let's say you're
Right?
a single man. Why
Yeah.
are you keeping a drawer
Listen to
full
what
of
you said.
earrings and rings?
Listen to what you said.
Mhm.
He's single. He could do whatever he want to do.
Absolutely.
2, it's his place.
So I'm asking you, what do you think about a man keeping a drawer where whenever a woman,
I think some men have memories. Like back in the day, I used to keep women
I
panties.
remember. Oh, I don't know if you should have admitted that.
No. Back in the day,
You said that out loud?
Yeah, I because
How long back in the day?
I'm smooth. Like if I'm kicking it with you and I got you down, and I like when the girl lift up like that. Like you ever lift up?
First of all, you are 63 years old. Can you say woman?
What did I say?
Girl.
Okay, well, woman.
Here we go. You know what I mean? So she's saying that this woman was at this guy's house, in his home, in his bathroom, going through his things. She finds a drawer full of items that were left behind by women who came to this man's apartment, and we all know what time it is. That guy smashed them, right? So this is the drawer where he kept all of the left behinds from these women. Women do leave stuff behind. You know what I mean? Just want to let you know. You got women, you running a rotation, women will leave things behind. Why? They want other women to see the stuff. It's kind of a way of, guaranteeing or marking their territory or something like that. Dudes who run rotations are used to this, so they'll do a CSI sweep when the woman leaves. I can't tell you how many things I used to find in the house: bracelets, rings, earrings. I found a nipple ring once. This girl had this nipple thing. She took the bar out. I found that. Shoes. You will find stockings, like TK was saying. You will find underwear, socks, brushes. I found a hairbrush once. Once a woman left her toothbrush. Yeah, she came to the crib with a toothbrush. Y'all knew what time it was, right? She knew what she was doing. She came over with a toothbrush and tried to leave it at the house. All sorts of stuff. Normally it's a bracelet, a necklace, or earrings, something like that. You know what I mean? Normally it's something like that: a ring, a finger ring, a watch, stuff like that. I had a woman leave a shoe before, one of her shoes, not both shoes, but one. Again, it'd be bring bags. They know what they're gonna do. They plan ahead, but they would leave it under the bed or something like that. Leave it under some cover. Right? It's leave behinds. They do it all the time. And what I would always do is, like, back in the day, I would call them because we didn't have text. I would call them and say, "Hey, you left your shoe over here. Hey, you left your earring over here. Hey, you left this, left that." And I try to get it back to them ASAP. Because I was in Cincinnati, it's a small town. Like I'm gonna see him soon. Like, well, look, I'm gonna be on your side of town tomorrow. I'll put it in the bag and I'll just drop it off to you while you at work. Something like that. I immediately found he gave it back to her. Like, nope, we're not playing that game.